Hey, welcome back to Leading Edge. Part of Toledo's identity is being a port city. Again, logistics. By expressway, rail, ship, or plane, being a logistical hub gives you great opportunities for growth and job creation. So maybe it stands to reason that our Port Authority has become the leader in economic development, certainly in Toledo and Lucas County, but also regionally. Last year, leadership of the Port Authority changed hands, first time in years, but the transition could not have been smoother. Thomas Winston now serves as the president and CEO of the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority. He holds a Master of Business Administration, MBA, out of Chicago's Loyola University, the city of which he's a native. But he's been at our Port Authority since 2010, and let's face it, he was the guy on deck. When Paul Toth told me, upon the announcement that he would be retiring, he told me, I said, who's going to be the next president? He says, I know who it will be or should be. I've been grooming him for some. You were the guy. You were the vice president over the Toth.
That's correct, Jerry.
And as it turns out, you were actually getting all the work done, then he would walk across the street to my TV studio and take all the bows, right?
Well, I would not attest to that. Certainly, Paul has been great to this community and to the Port Authority specifically over 31 years, working with the Port Authority in all capacities. So certainly he has set the stage for kind of where we are today.
But what a great, great situation for you guys. Not every organization can do that, whether it was a planned succession plan or whatever, to have you there at the ready, having been in the fold for the better part of a decade. That's a comfortable way to hand off the torch, if you will.
It is. It is. We're very happy with the successes that we've had at the Port Authority. Certainly the human capital and the skill sets that we have amassed at the organization has certainly put us in position to have a easy transition like Paul and I had.
All right, so we've got you in the seat. We did the transition piece. Now, when we say Port Authority, many people think of the airport. Passenger traffic up last year, I'm told 1.69%. That may pale in comparison to 2018's 22% hike, fueled largely, we think, by the Charlotte connection. But that's still 7 straight years of passenger growth at the airport. So how do you make it 8 and 9 and more?
Great. Well, we are happy with the success of the aviation end of the airport. 7 years in a row is great, particularly where we were prior to that time period. Certainly the Charlotte flight, full year of the Charlotte flight propelled that increase. We're happy with the successes that we have with American going both to Charlotte and Orlando. Charlotte and Chicago, as well as Allegiant Airlines servicing the Florida destination. So we're very, very happy with the successes and believe that there's more on the horizon.
Some passenger expansion on the horizon? Am I hearing about more Allegiant stuff coming up?
We believe that is the case. For instance, in February specifically, there's a 5% increase in the capacity for passengers at Allegiant. And for the month of March, particularly getting ready for our spring break time frame, there will be a 33% increase in passenger capacity. So I think that'll bode well for Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, and those who frequent Toledo.
You want to get out of town in spring break, they'll have the seats to get you out of town. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct.
By the way, is it still Express? Aren't we supposed to be calling it Gene Kranz Airport in honor of the NASA Mission Control icon from right here in Toledo?
Well, that is upcoming, certainly by the passage of legislation both by the City of Toledo as well as our Board of Directors. Upon the recommendation of the mayor, we will be changing the name to Toledo Express to Eugene Krantz Toledo Express Airport, and we're looking forward to that announcement and ceremony around the May timeframe.
Some hear Port Authority and they think seaport. You know, the ships that come in up the lake and dock in Toledo, delivering stuff, floating other stuff away. Those deliveries down, I hear, but much of that beyond anybody's control. Many farmers couldn't plant any corn, few beans this past year because of historically wet weather. Still, in terms of other commodities, the seaport was up.
It was up, certainly. 2018, we had a record year with 9.8 million tons of shipment. In 2019, 9.5 million tons of shipment, particularly as you mentioned too, the inclement weather. Iron ore was up over 10%, and that was particularly propelled by getting ready for the launch of the Cleveland Cliffs initiative in 2020. So
aren't some of your metal shipments, is it aluminum? Went down, but is coming back, and we think that's related to the whole tariffs thing that was going on.
Well, certainly that had an impact to the downment of the shipment, and we think particularly for 2020 and beyond with Cleveland Cliffs and some of the other initiatives that are taking place, we should see some historic numbers at the
Let's do that. Cleveland Cliffs, and I can't begin to tell you what's going to happen over there. We've had stuff written in our scripts that I can read out loud. I don't understand the process. Maybe Thomas can help us out. But that has created hundreds of jobs, certainly in the construction phase. Where are we on that project that the Port Authority had a hand in, certainly, and then what kind of job base will it take to then, on an ongoing basis, to operate that facility?
Well, certainly that launch is ongoing as we speak. Actually, there were over 1,000 construction jobs during the course of 2019 as a result of this particular initiative. Wow. Again, I remind everyone this was an $800 million initiative that's taken place, one of the largest initiatives in Northwest Ohio in quite some time. We expect that this is going to lead to over 130 full-time jobs for the community. It's just going to have a ripple effect through the impact that the Toledo Seaport has, which is over $700 million annually, and also over 7,000 jobs for the community. So we're ecstatic about the prospects of having Cleveland Cliffs.
I want to do that again because I was reading that earlier. The seaport, just the ships out there, how much in terms of economic impact? Give me that number.
Clear, over 700 million as a conservative estimate, and over 7,000 jobs.
Speaking of job base, I have to ask you about workforce issues, both quantity and quality. It's been discussed here on this program as a challenge, a problem. Do you see that too? And what can the Port Authority do about that?
We do see workforce issues being a challenge, particularly now in such a great economic environment that we're working in. But nevertheless, many entities, as well as the Port Authority, have stepped up, and we're looking at and combating the issues that present themselves as it relates to workforce development. There are a Community of Excellence initiative that's taken place. Many of the leading organizations around Northwest Ohio are getting together to address and look at the issues that are presented. Specifically, we have Jobs Ohio through the RGP, as well as Toledo Community, the Chamber of Commerce. Specifically, those individuals are working towards identifying those workplace initiatives and being supported by organizations like the Port Authority.
I've got at least 8 minutes more worth of questions and a minute to go. What do I do? Hey, when trying to attract companies here, one question which I'm told arises deals with our freshwater supplies. You guys are supplying money, I know, to the Grassy Island Wetlands Restoration Project. Wetlands restoration certainly is part of the state's new H2 Ohio program. Is there a connection there? Address that whole, somebody comes to you, yo, Toledo, can you guys drink your water up there now? I mean, is that an issue?
That is an issue, and certainly has been front and center for many of the residents locally. The governor, Governor DeWine, created an initiative called the H2 Ohio Initiative. I believe the capital, about $170 million allocated
for the first 2 years.
For the first 2 years. We are supporting that initiative by administrating two particular projects, Grassy Island as well as Cullen Park, working with ODNR, working with the City of Toledo, and other partners to ensure that engineering, planning, and the construction of these wetlands are suitable for us to create and also ensure clean and safe waters for our residents.
So much more to talk about, but what, 6 months in the big chair over there? We'll have time to talk down the road, all right?
Agreed.
I just wanted everybody to get to know Thomas Winston, President and CEO of the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority. Thank him for keeping us on the leading edge of growing the economy in this great port city. And I'll be right back.